The newest update for Helldivers 2, Devoid of Liberty, released a few days ago, and while I really enjoy what they have added to the game, I am also disappointed by what they haven't added, and what they have been neglecting to add for a long time. In a vacuum, Devoid of Liberty is a fine major update. When you examine it on its own merits, they did add some great content and some great changes, but I'm personally still lacking reasons to play Helldivers 2 on my own in my free time. So what is the new content in this update? Well, we got two new enemy types for the Illuminate, the Crushers and the Wretches, or as I like to call them, Pyramid Head and the Necromorphs. Both of these enemies are present in the new Illuminate subfaction, the Vote Snatchers. The Vote Snatchers subfaction consists of the new enemy types, as well as voteless and flesh mobs, so there are no real Illuminate at all in this subfaction. This faction is only made up of the twisted horrors that the Illuminate have created. Not even Watchers will show up to call in warp ships. It is just a horde of alien mutated freaks. I quite like fighting these new enemies. They have a lot of unique properties to them. The Crushers are very slow melee units, but they have tons of health and they can regenerate their health over time. So when you start shooting one, you better finish the job or you're just wasting ammo. These guys make flesh mobs look like they have no health at all. These enemies can arrive in large numbers, meaning that you can get easily overwhelmed if you don't have enough firepower. However, you can take out the Crusher's helmet if you attack it with heavy pen weapons, allowing you to directly attack their head, which is a massive weak point on these enemies. A single Crusher on their own isn't a big deal, but when you see a horde of them, you're gonna engage fight or flight mode. It is crazy how much they can overwhelm you. The Wretches, on the other hand, aren't that tough to kill if you know how. The reason that I compared the Wretches to the Necromorphs from Dead Space is because their limbs are the most vulnerable part of their body. You may be tempted to shoot them in the head, but I strongly recommend that you shoot off their limbs to cripple them and make them easier to kill, because these bastards are some of the most mobile enemies on the Illuminate front. They can pounce on you from a dozen meters away, much like a hunter or a stalker, or like the automatons in the Jet Brigade. This is a welcome enemy type for the Illuminate. The Voteless do have their appeal, but I find that they can be a bit boring sometimes. These guys are a lot more terrifying, and I love that. They will take away that relative safety you feel when you're fighting Voteless and flesh mobs. Combine that with the Crushers, and the Illuminate now have everything they need to overrun you when you're not prepared. Right now, you can fight the Vote Snatchers subfaction in the Void, which is one of the biggest additions in this update. If you head to Rirga Bay, you can pass through the Void Gateway to enter the Void itself, which is now an entirely new map separate from the rest of the Galactic War. And here, you will find some Void-altered planets that contain some new mission types for the Illuminate. There's a new mission that uses the Gator, previously only seen on Terminid Hive worlds. And there's a new mission to take out Gazer Spires, which are massive gazers that can target you from a very long range and take you out quickly. These mission types are welcome additions to the game, and I hope that we can keep getting more mission types for the Illuminate because they really need it compared to the bots and the bugs. The Void is currently lacking in variety compared to the rest of the galaxy though. It doesn't feel the same as invading Cyberstan or the Hive worlds, but it is clear that they will be adding more to the Void in the future, so hopefully we can see some truly alien environments. The Illuminate Exostorms have also seen a big upgrade. They can now spawn tornadoes that will suck up all the units on the ground and fling them around.
Yeah. I'm
Ghosts matters.
Oh,
the tornado!
Oh!
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 Wait, hold on. Hold
Tornado on you?
And of course, who can forget the new war bond that came along with this update? Castellan's Creed, also known as the Warhammer 40,000 war bond. In the past, legendary war bonds haven't been the best. They've been decent enough to justify the price for fans of Halo and Killzone, but they were not competing with the best war bonds in the game. Even though I am a massive fan of the Halo war bond, I can recognize that the gear in that war bond has some flaws, and it sometimes lacks identity. But this new 40k warband has some genuinely incredible and unique gear, so let's do a mini warband review of Castellan's Creed. The Hot Shot is a really solid marksman rifle. I view it as a more forgiving version of the Deadeye, sacrificing a little bit of damage for a larger magazine and quicker reloads. It's very satisfying to shoot, and it gets the job done well. If you want a powerful, medium pen marksman rifle, you're gonna find that in this warband. The bolt pistol is pretty damn great for a secondary weapon. It deals 500 damage with heavy pen, and it explodes on impact, dealing a bit of damage in the surrounding radius. But even though it is explosive, it cannot close enemy spawn points or destroy objectives, which is understandable. It has a magazine size of 6, and it can carry 4 spare magazines. So you don't get a lot of shots, but every shot will hit very hard. Fun fact, this weapon has the highest recoil value in the entire game, which I think is appropriate seeing as this is a weapon that is wielded by Space Marines. The Hot Shot and the Bolt Pistol both have 0% drag factor, which means that they don't lose any damage over range. So they're pretty damn good at all ranges. This is going to make a lot of people very happy. The Melt-A-Mine is very useful against groups of enemies. It will only trigger for large enemies, much like an anti-tank mine. It will blast upwards with a giant column of heat, killing lots of large enemies instantly, and leaving behind fire for everyone else. This is insanely good. It's a lot more effective than the Lure Mine when it comes to pure damage. The Melt-A-Gun is insanely good for killing large enemies, but it only has a range of about 15 meters, so you need to be very close in order to use it. It can hold 3 shots in a magazine, and it can hold 4 spare magazines, for a total of 15 shots before you need to resupply. The Melt-A-Gun can theoretically kill everything in the game except for an Illuminate overship. That is a fuck ton of power to pack into a support weapon, and it doesn't even require a backpack. If you're able to get in close and use this weapon effectively, it is downright insane. And the new armor passive, True Grit, is really solid. This passive gives you 30% reload speed for support weapons and 20 extra ergo on all weapons. The reload speed buff is no joke. You can reload the autocannon almost instantly with this, and it's going to make fans of the recoilless rifle very happy. And it combines great with the new weapons because they all have pretty rough ergo stats, to be honest. This passive can be used with the new medium and heavy armor sets. There is no light armor set with this passive, unfortunately. Now that we've talked about all the new content in Devoid of Liberty, let's talk about everything that has changed. First and most importantly, the game is running great right now, at least on PS5, for me. There are times when there will be a ton of enemies on the screen and so much is going on, and I'm naturally preparing for like a 20 FPS moment because I've been trained to experience that in this game, but it doesn't happen. There will even be tons of Sief squads getting dropped off in Pelicans, and the frame rate barely dips, which leads me to the next big change, the Sief rework. Sief squads now have dedicated roles, including squad leaders, riflemen, support troopers, and medics. They have new and updated behavior according to their class. The Sief are much more competent now, and it makes them a lot more enjoyable to fight with. They are definitely acting a lot smarter now, and they have a lot more interactions with the player. Sief medics will run to you and stim you when you're low on health, and Sief troopers can enter a bleed out state now, allowing you to run over and stim them to bring them back up. Sief troopers will now also respond to a variety of different emotes. You can now give your Sief troopers a fist bump or even give them a hug. They come with a bunch of new voice lines too, making it all even more immersive and fun. I strongly believe that details like this are what makes a game great, so I'm glad to see this all being included. Sief can now be deployed outside of cities. Certain planets will have a new modifier, Heavy Sief Presence, which means that Sief will be dropped off in Pelicans across the map regardless of the biome, meaning that Sief can now theoretically spawn on any planet in the game as long as the modifier is present. The new Sief rework is my favorite part of the update, we are finally getting a taste of large-scale battles in Helldivers 2. Having a dozen Thief with you, desperately defending an area is such a fun experience, and I hope that they will continue to expand upon this in the future with more additions to the Thief. I'm really hoping that one day we'll be able to customize and deploy our own Thief squads with the new Thief squad stratagem. The level cap has been increased to 300, and players that have already reached 150 will have their XP retroactively applied to the new levels. If you were level 150 before, you will probably be a much higher level now. We now have access to 8 emote slots. Finally, this has been a change that people have been asking for a long time now, so we can finally equip more than a few emotes at once, and it gives you more room for that kick, or the random option, or whatever. Assisted reloading has finally gotten a rework. You no longer need to have a matching backpack equipped to help someone reload their support weapon. If your friend has a support weapon and the appropriate backpack to match, then you can run over and reload their weapon with their ammo that is stored in their backpack. Finally, people might have a chance to use this great feature now that it's actually easy to use. There weren't a lot of balancing changes in this patch, but they did make a change to heavy landing, allowing you to recover faster after taking fall damage. And they finally gave stripper clips to the Constitution, bringing this weapon all the way from a D to a D+. They also buffed short magazines for most weapons, making them a bit more viable, and they gave a big buff to the Eagle Napalm airstrike, allowing it to cover a much larger radius. Overall, I'm quite happy with the changes they made to the game. There's nothing negative to talk about in this category. Now, we're going to get into what is missing from this update, and even though I do like the content we have received, that won't stop me from being critical of the game. I think one thing that really sticks out is that we have only received 2 new enemy types, maybe 3 if you count the new Gazer objective. This is the least amount of new enemies that we have gotten in a title update, and it feels weird that we aren't seeing any more aliens when we enter the Void itself. The new planets also don't feel very unique at all. They are basically just existing biomes, but they're gray now. I'm expecting that we will get a unique Void biome at some point and some more aliens probably, but not having those here during the launch of the big title update is bizarre. There is no new gear besides the gear in the 40k Warbond, unless you count what we're working on in the Galactic campaign, and the Warbond itself is great, but I have most of the items in there already, and then we're back to not having anything to unlock in the game. The only thing that veteran players will have is the level grind, but all you get from that is titles. That's nothing. Don't get me wrong, I am glad that they upped the level cap because it is something, and I'm sure that some people do like grinding that out, but the rewards you get for reaching high levels, they need to be better. If you're reaching level 300, or hell, even 150, you should get a special cape, or an awesome variant of the BO1 tactical set, or something else that you can see when you're playing, not just a title that can only be seen in between missions. And there could be some weapons that people haven't maxed out yet. I know that's the way I am, but maxing out weapons doesn't even give you a lot. I mean, the attachments in this game aren't that impactful on their own, and most of us already have the attachments that we already want. And to be honest, most of the weapon patterns look worse than the default look. The real problem is that they haven't expanded upon weapon customization in well over a year now, even though they said that they would. And this leads me back to the thing that I am always ranting about when it comes to Helldivers 2. There is nothing significant to unlock for veteran players. All there is right now is the level grind, but again, you don't get any fun rewards for doing that. I know that they're working on the endgame, but this is yet another major update without any progress on that front. Heart of Democracy was well over a year ago, and we haven't seen any expansion to weapon customization at all. We haven't heard a peep about anything regarding that. Here is a simple idea for progression that wouldn't take you 2 years to create. Give us a challenge system like most other games have. Let us unlock things like new weapon patterns for doing certain things with those weapons and reward us for fighting enemies instead of running away from them. Maybe you could unlock a gold weapon pattern for killing 500 enemies on difficulty 10 on every front with that weapon. Watching that bar fill up would give people something to chase for that they can actually see and use. Maybe you could create special challenges to unlock more variants of the BO1 tactical set, or better yet, just give us the ability to customize our armor. Or maybe they could give us levels for our armor sets. Leveling them up would unlock new color patterns for the armor. Or again, there could be challenges associated with armor sets and armor passives to unlock new color patterns for the armor. If we could have this in the game, then we would already have so much more progression and customization, and it would give each warbond more value if you could unlock more patterns for the armor sets or have challenges for the weapons. The other thing that we desperately need more of in Helldivers 2 is social features. In a game that relies so heavily on the community for the game to function properly, it is shocking that we still haven't seen any new social features in the game. I have said this a million times, but we need that platoon system. I hope that they still plan to bring platoons to the game one day, but I'm at the point where I am expecting nothing. And I want them to prove me wrong. I don't want Helldivers 2 to suffer. I don't want this game to end. I want them to do good. That's all I want. I'm not hating on Arrowhead or Helldivers 2, really. I'm just saying, where's the beef? In conclusion, Devoid of Liberty is a fine update. We have seen much worse updates in the past, but we have also gotten better ones too. In a vacuum, on its own merits, this update is pretty great. The new content and the new changes are very good, and the technical side of the game is doing pretty well right now, apart from some crashes. But in the greater context of Helldivers 2 and my personal journey with the game, I'm still starving for anything to actually chase when playing the game. I could go on for hours about what this game is missing, and I'm gonna make a separate video about that soon. But it sucks to see another major update come out without any new progression systems, any new ways to customize, or any new social features. But what do you think about Devoid of Liberty? Is it a good update? A great update? What do you think about the 40k warbond? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, I want to thank my Hell Troopers. Swickety, Archangel Shipyards, Findas16, ODST Exotic, John Droll, Tinfoil Freak, Melek Paragon 9231, Jack of Nothingness, Thak Dub, Kermite Official, SES Champion of Democracy, and Shaquille O'Neal 1. Thank you all for continuing to support my channel, it means a lot to me. And that is all I have for today. This is Grand Moff Togan of the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.